a speeding ticket with 22,000 pennies.
I felt good to kind of stick it to the man.
Angry because he got a ticket for going 39 in a 30-mile-per-hour zone.
We pay with pennies to clog the system, but I wanted to make a point.
Brett got the 22,000 pennies from 2 local banks. He broke up the rolls of pennies with a hammer, then lugged the heavy buckets inside, where he dumped them right on the counter in front of the shocked clerk. Some folks think what Brett did was way out of line. All you did was punish the poor clerk who would have to count all that. Brett got this phone message from the clerk's office.
You actually have change coming back to you. It's calling to see when you wanted to pick up your change.
I've eaten human flesh for the past 20-something fucking years because of you. Everything I do is a result of the shit that you put me through. Can't drive in a car.
Don't you know that human flesh is the most delicious? Soylent Green, that was what all the people loved, was Soylent Green. They didn't know it was people, but they loved it because it was the most delicious. Sweeney Todd made his meat pies out of people. Everybody loved him. Everybody loved him.
Oh.
So what's the big deal?
It is a big deal. Human flesh? I just want to know, how did you even figure this? How the fuck did you even know?
Today we're going to cover the highly requested murder case, the Hello Kitty case. So this case took place in Hong Kong in 1999. A little background on the victim. Fan Men-yi was abandoned as a child, resulting her being raised in an orphanage. When she turned 15, she was told by her orphanage that she had to leave due to their age restriction. With nowhere and no one to turn to, Fan became homeless and addicted to drugs. She was forced into prostitution until the age of 21 when she began working at a brothel. Fan eventually married one of her clients, a fellow drug addict, and in 1998 she gave birth to their son. No surprise, Fan's husband was abusive and the two could be heard fighting at all hours of the night. To secure a better life for herself and her son, Fan took a job as a hostess at a nightclub in the red light district. Go to part 2!
Imagine getting arrested for having a child with a dead body. Jennifer Burrows is a 26-year-old who was working at a morgue when she was arrested after a DNA test proved her child's father was a dead body she was supposed to autopsy. But it actually gets worse from here, because while Jennifer was working as an assistant pathologist at the morgue, she had relations with more than 60 bodies, belonging to men aged 17 to 71 years old. She did this for 2 years until it led to the birth of her son. Her son's father was a 57-year-old veterinarian from Texas, who passed away in a car accident in 2017. Jennifer was charged with 158 counts of indecent treatment of a corpse. Many psychologists and experts have debated why someone would do this. The reasons range from curiosity to severe mental illness. Some even believe Jennifer was suffering from psychosis. Alright, after all that, I don't really know how to end this video, so stay safe out there and follow for more. This is considered one of the most shocking cases in Polish history. On January 6, 1999, a sailor in Poland noticed something strange floating on the river. It was long and pale and it smelled very bad. And as he leaned in closer to get a better look, he saw an ear attached to it. Now, what I'm about to say next is very disturbing, so be warned. After the sailor found this substance, DNA testing then indicated it was the skin of a missing woman named Katarzyna Zawada. And whoever did this to her turned her skin into a suit and was likely wearing it. So at this point, only her skin was found. Until January 14th, when pieces of her clothing and one leg was found also in the river. 17 years later, 52-year-old Robert J. was arrested for this. He previously worked in a dissection lab, meaning he was skilled in preparing animal skin. And he allegedly also knew the victim. As of October 2022, 23 years since the victim was found, Robert J. is still awaiting trial. As he remains in custody, investigators are allegedly gathering more evidence to solve the case. Follow for more.
On November 3rd, 2018, Tamla Horsford, a 40-year-old mother of 5, was having a slumber party with her group of friends who called themselves Football Moms. The following morning, police found Tamla dead in the backyard, covered in multiple bruises. Police ruled the death as an accident, stating that she'd most likely fallen off the porch while intoxicated. However, Tamla's family was unsure, so they had a second autopsy done which showed that she had several cuts to her arms and legs as well. This finding, along with strange differences in the witness testimonies and a confusing log of the back door of the house opening and closing repeatedly, led the family to believe that their mother's death was not an accident, it was homicide. Because of the movement protesting the murder of George Floyd, the case was reopened, but still, it was ruled an accident.
So you may have seen this image floating around the internet today, because this image, which was recently released, was taken before Emma Brown, featured below, took a gun and turned it on her father and then herself. The photo is from last year in September, and the plan was part of a murder plot that her and another 12-year-old girl came up with. It was later discovered that Emma's plan was to kill her family and her pets and then run away with a friend. And after she shot her father in the abdomen, she was running towards the driveway when it's believed that she panicked and turned the gun on herself. This all happened in Texas, and now authorities believe that she was headed towards the driveway so she could grab her car, drive about 230 miles to her friend, and then the both of them were going to drive to Georgia together. It's also now believed that Emma didn't come up with this plan herself. It was actually planned by the friend, but they're not releasing the friend's name, and it's not clear how Emma and her met. It's a little implied that cops are blaming social media for this. They issued a statement that basically said now is a good time to make sure you know who your kids' friends are, especially if they're meeting people off the internet, because you don't ever really know what they're talking about.
What's her nickname?
Like usually Mickey.
Mickey?
Yeah.
Are your her boyfriends? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, we've been like on and off for like a year and a half.
Yesterday, you seen her yesterday, right?
Yeah, the last time I saw her was during lunch.
What was going on during lunch? Where were you guys?
Well, usually like if we have good grades, we get an hour for lunch. And our lunch starts from 11:30 to 12:30, so we have an hour. And we were feeling hungry, and so I wanted to go to the taco truck. And she's like, okay. And we went, we got burritos, we came back to school, we ate them. And after a while, like, she went with her friends, and I went with mine.
That was the last time you seen her?
Yeah, that was the last time I saw her. No, we walked down the hall together after lunch, and after that, I never saw her again.
Okay.
Because we have split classes after that.
It's interesting that as he says that was the last time he saw her, he's shaking his head no. As he says it, he realizes that he made a mistake. This is a brain-body mismatch, much like you see in a person who is being deceptive, but the difference is he corrects himself. Typically, verbal and nonverbal communication matches, but when the brain is thinking one thing and the mouth says another, the nonverbal and verbal will misalign or mismatch altogether. When this occurs in individuals who have something to hide, they won't correct it. But when it's just a case of nerves or talking without really thinking, then the individual will often go back and correct themselves, as Javier does here.
And what did you do after school?
After school, I picked up my brother and then went home right away to go and change.
What time was that?
Like around like 3:40, 3:35.
Okay, and then what did you do after that?
After that, I went to work.
What time did you go to work?
Well, I left to work like at 3:45. Got there like about 3:50, 3:51, and clocked in like at 3:55, and I didn't get out till like 10.
Did you text her or talk to her?
Yeah, no, it's because I didn't know something was going on. And
Okay.
no, but yeah, like I was saying, I was working and I guess Michaela's mom went to my house and she told my brother, have you seen Michaela? Like, is she with your brother? And my brother told her, no, my brother's been working ever since out of school. And he went looking for me at work and he goes, hey, is anything like wrong with Michaela? Is she alright? Because her mom went looking for her at her house. And I go, yeah, everything's fine. Why? She goes, I don't know. Like, I just have a feeling something's wrong. And then he left and I go, like about an hour and 30 minutes later, Michaela's mom came and did you know a police officer named Kat? Or she goes by that? Yeah, they came looking for me and they're like, hey, like, have you been hanging out with Michaela? Like, did you hang out with her after school? And I told them, no, why? And then they told me because she's been missing. After track practice, they didn't know where she was. And
Okay.
I told them no that I came to work like right at 3:45 and I didn't see her.
Do you know anybody she would have been with after track practice?
Well, usually she gets rides from track practice or else she goes home walking. And if she gets a ride home, she gets one from... And then if she goes walking home, she goes to the back because our school has a football field in the back and there's a little shortcut through the right. And she goes in through there and there's this little cul-de-sac and she goes through there and just follows the sidewalk. Like, I don't understand if she went walking home because it was kind of cold, and I don't know why she do that because usually the one that gives her like rides. She's the one that gives them the most rides.
Is anybody else that has said they seen her after school last night?
No, they just she saw her too in the locker room one.
Just in the locker room.
Yeah.
Anybody see her outside after she left? Anybody you know of?
No.
Javier's statement that he was at work while the town started looking for Michaela established a strong alibi for his whereabouts, but it was still something that the police needed to verify. As he continues to describe his relationship with Michaela, Javier reveals new details about Michaela's relationship with her mother.
So, but nobody's been talking to school that they seen her after school, outside.
After track ended and things? No, they just said they saw her like right when track ended.
How's she been acting lately?
I don't know. She's been acting pretty fine. Like, if something was wrong, she'd vent. She's not one of those girls that hides her feelings, like puts her emotions in her. She has to say what's going on. And if something was going on with her, like at home, she'd be telling like, I want to go, like I want to get out of here. I want to go somewhere else. I'm tired of my mom. And
so everything's been good, huh?
Yeah. And we haven't had any problems since like.
So what have you been hearing? What do you think's been going on? Do you think that she?
I think like, I don't know.
Has she ran away before?
Yeah, she ran away once, but.
When was it?
It was, I'm not sure. I think last year, but when.